Hello everybody, Multi here. It has been quite a while. In fact, it is actually March 2nd, 2025 as I'm recording this. This is not only my first vlog, but also my first video I've ever recorded for content this year. And wow, I can't believe it took me like, what, the first 60 days? Oh no, 28 plus 31. That's 51 plus 8, 50, 59. So, well, plus, yeah, so 61 days into the year, and finally I'm making at least one video here. I cannot promise this is like some big return or anything. It's just kind of more like a life update of sorts. But of course, like, I still want to at least come on here occasionally doing vlogs until I get around to finally getting back to doing the Let's Plays and stuff, but that's going to be quite a while. But I just want to give you all kind of a life update. The biggest thing that's happened since my last video I posted on here, which was apparently the 31st of August or 30th of August, somewhere around there. So not even September. So I haven't even posted a video since I turned 29 years old, which happened in September as well. So I missed my birthday on here. But the same day as my birthday, I started my new job. Now, I was hinting about this in my last few videos, I do believe. I'm pretty sure that those last couple months I was putting out videos. I'm pretty sure I mentioned about interviewing for a job, and well, I got that job, and ever since my birthday, September 9th, I have been working that job, and I've been insanely busy working that job. I have worked, I've been working mostly Monday through Friday for this job. So I got a good schedule and whatnot. Well, a good schedule. It's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 is my work schedule. But the thing is, I always work past 5 p.m. I usually end up working I'm usually out until like 9 or 10 o'clock at night on the weekdays. So by the time I get home, it's already time for bed, time to get ready for the next day. And yeah, so I'm just too plain tuckered out to record a video before I go to bed or anything, or even upload videos or anything like that. So I just haven't been able to work on my videos like ever since then. The first few weeks or so I was doing this job, I was working from home actually, and sometimes on rare occasions there are days where I'm working from home actually. So basically what my job is, I'm basically a technician now. This is a big step up. In my humble opinion, this is a huge step up from Walmart. It's a huge improvement over where I was before. I'm much happier with this job. I still have complaints. I still have things that piss me off about this job sometimes, but overall, I'm in a much better place than I was this time last year. I can definitely tell you that. Even though I was still already doing okay with Walmart as well. Like I was doing, my wage was pretty high. In fact, actually, my wage is actually $2 less than it was at the end of by the time I quit Walmart. I won't say exactly what it is, but like it's $2 less. But I'm still making significantly more than I did working at Walmart because I'm working so much overtime. There's also a bunch of little bonuses with this job too. First of all, like I drive so the vast majority of my job actually is driving a company vehicle basically, because I have to go from work site to work site fixing different things that break down basically, or sometimes even resolving like network issues too. Like I never would have like being a technician is something that I never thought about or dreamed of like when I was in high school. If any of you who are in high school right now and going through that process of being stressed out over what career you want to do in life, I still haven't quite figured that out yet. I think I have with this whole technician thing, but mind you, I just got this job as a technician at 29 years old. It's already been over 10 years since I graduated high school, and I finally, kind of started doing something that I think is going to work out for me in the future, in the long run. By the way, no college experience was required for this job that I have, none whatsoever. The only requirement they have is that you graduate high school and and you're able to drive a car. You need to have your driver's license. You need to. There's a lot of little things like things you need to be able to handle, basically, like being able to work in a cramped space and stuff like that. And there's other things too, like being able to handle being on a scissor lift. Because I've actually had some tasks where I have had to get on a scissor lift to fix like a router, that like one of those routers they have on the ceilings at Walmart, basically. they're called access points, and they kind of circulate the Wi-Fi around the store. I've had a few tasks where I've had to work on those, and they're often located on the ceiling, so you have to get on the scissor lift to access them. And whenever I do a task that requires scissor lift, I get a $100 bonus for that task alone, basically. But yeah, I often work like 60 or 70 hours a week, and so 60 hours alone, that is an average of 12 hours per day, basically for 5 days. That alone is, so that gives you an idea of like just how busy I am with this job. I have weekends off now, and it took a while to get to that point because so in November actually, and I'll have actually come to think of it, I did actually record vlogs while I was down there. In November of last year, I actually went on a business trip down to Peachtree City, Georgia, which is about 20-30 miles or so south of Atlanta. And during that time there, and I was down there for 3 weeks, like from the beginning of November, like to like until Thanksgiving week. Basically, I was down there, and I got to stay in this nice hotel. All expenses paid, like the flight and the hotel, all was paid for by work, and meals and stuff too. But there was one weekend where I went out to World of Coke. I went to Atlanta with a few of my fellow coworkers there that I met down there, and we visited places in Atlanta such as World of Coke and the Georgia Aquarium, which is one of the largest aquariums in the world. And the next day I went to Six Flags over Georgia too. I didn't really go on many rides. I just kind of went there just to kind of check it out, take a look, and just to see it in person, basically. There was a lot to see down there, and also the hotel itself. I made some vlogs while I was down there, and there were some serious topics of me to cover, like in recent vlog or whenever, like back when I was still doing vlogs, sort of. But yeah, so I was down there for a few weeks, and then once I got back from training, then I was basically out on my own, because prior to that, I was basically just following someone else and watching them do the job, basically to kind of get the idea of what I'd be doing. So after I got back from training, I was basically by myself. I was out running tasks by myself at this point. And I've had to spend like several hours on some tasks just to kind of figure things out on my own, basically, like sort of, learn this crap. And I still have a long ways to go. Like I still have so much more I need to learn to really improve my, to increase my efficiency with this job. So there's that too. So that's why it's also taking so long. But like during that time, I still technically had the weekends off, but what would happen is that they would have me unavailable, because like we didn't have a set schedule yet, and there's two of us covering the area at the time, and we were just on the default Monday through Friday 8 to 5 schedule, basically. But they didn't have coverage on weekends, so what they would do is they kept on putting me or both me and him on the schedule for availability, but they would fail to notify me prior. So I would be getting like messages from work and saying like, hey, why aren't you coming in, or we need you guys to come out on the weekends, when as far as I knew I had the weekend off. So those weekends really pissed me off. And it happened like several weekends in a row. I got so mad about that. But since they had not informed me prior, I told them, no, I am not going out because you did not tell me, you did not give me a 24-hour notice. They're supposed to give us a 24 to 48-hour notice or something like that whenever they change our schedules like so fast like that for the weekends. And oftentimes they fail to do that, so I would still get the weekend off. But it still really threw me off, the fact that they were changing my schedules. Like putting me on the schedule for the weekend right as the weekend's starting, basically. So those weekends kind of pissed me off. And finally in January, just last month, we got a set schedule, and I have weekends off officially, like for good, basically, like semi-permanent, basically, because the other guy agreed to take the weekends, basically. We don't need as much coverage on the weekends as we do on the weekdays with this job. It's very different from retail. But basically, for now, I have weekends off permanently. So weekends are probably the only times I'll be able to get around to making videos, if at all, because, even though it's nice to have the weekends off and I get to relax these 2 days, I still got other crap I have to do. I have to, like, clean up this place, like, clean up this apartment still. I gotta do my adult stuff, basically, still. So it's hard to fit time in and do videos. And then when I'm not doing adult stuff, I'm just resting because I'm relaxing because I'm tired because I worked 60, 70 hours this past week. And it's because, like, this job, they allow so much overtime. And my boss encourages overtime. Like, he loves giving it out so much. And I can't help but take it because I need the money. You know, I still got these freaking student loans I'm trying to pay off. I have financial goals I'm trying to meet. And I'm getting there. Like, I'm getting there much faster than I did with Walmart, but I still have a long ways to go, basically. So, I have a good enough money saved up, basically. And I'm doing what I can with that. As someone get it further saved up before I can start, like, actually just straight up putting money towards my student loans just to get those paid off finally. And that's going to take a while. And once I get my student loans paid off, then I'm going to buy a car. I still have that Chevy Cavalier I've been driving for the past 12 years now. You know, it's still my main personal car. And now I have this work vehicle that that I'm always driving every weekday. So that leaves my personal car to be hardly driven at all. And this winter has been very, very rough. It's been extremely cold. Like, I think we've had more days below zero than we did in previous years. And, you know, it's also been kind of back and forth, too. Like, we've had some weeks where it was warm, like unusually warm. And then other weeks where it's, like, really, like, almost record-breaking lows, basically. So, it's been a crazy winter. But needless to say, I haven't been driving my car these past few months. And I didn't try to until a few days ago, on Friday. And the battery was completely dead. It's not surprising. If you don't drive your car for, like, all of winter, and then you suddenly try to drive it at the end of February, that battery's going to be dead. Because your car needs to run in order to charge the battery. And if your car is not running, it's running on the battery, basically, to, you know, in order to start or just run the accessories, basically. So, yeah. Been dealing with that situation. Then yesterday I went to do my taxes, and I was very pleasantly surprised how big the tax return is, because last year I did so much self-employment stuff, like in those 3 months that I was unemployed. And let me tell you, I'm gonna miss those few months I was unemployed. That was a good time, actually. Yeah, I was living off my savings, like what little I had left from Walmart. And it didn't take long for me to start getting to the nitty-gritty, start to kind of worry about things, basically, like, oh my god, I'm gonna run out of money fast here. But fortunately, I got the job, and I got my savings back up to, like, far beyond where they were at Walmart, basically. Well, actually, not far beyond, but, like, just, basically, I have, my savings account is bigger than it was when I left Walmart, and I was able to live off that for a few months, basically, because I still live in this apartment with the rent being as low as it possibly could be, because it's such a cheap place. And honestly, it's hard to imagine the idea of leaving this place because of how cheap the rent is. But eventually I'm going to have to, because my game collection is getting so big that I'm running out of space to store my games, basically. So, you know, I'm going to have to move out eventually and get a bigger place just for storing games, basically. But, you know, I don't want to, because that's going to increase the rent, and then it's going to take longer to achieve my financial goals. So it's kind of there's kind of balance to it, basically, sort of. You just have to kind of go one way or the other, or try to do both, but I don't know how you do both. So, yeah, that's where we stand. Just working new job for the past 6 months. Oh, I will be going back to Japan again this year. September this year, I will be going back to Japan, and I will be going there for my 30th birthday, actually. I have my vacation schedule for September 6th. I believe that's a Saturday. So basically the second week of September, I have completely off from work, and I'm going to use that time to visit Japan, just like I did last year in April. I'm very excited for that. Very much looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the adventures I will have there again. And also at the end of April this year, I am going to be flying out to Washington State, because I have not visited there in, like, ever since I moved to Wisconsin, actually. I haven't been to Washington State since May of 2019, I think it was. Yeah. That was the last time I was there. And now that is almost 6 years ago. It's been 6 years now, almost, since I moved to Wisconsin, and I haven't been to Washington State since. So it's about time I head back there. I'm also going to be in Las Vegas for some of that time to see my dad as well. So, yeah. Got big plans for this year. Got big plans for the future with this job, as I'm saving up money. And, yeah, we'll see where it goes. So for now, I'm going to say adios, and I'll see you all on the next vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.